If you had access to the internet during the early 2000s, then I'm sure you remember AOL, AIM Instant Messenger, Lemon Party, and Chris Angel. Chris Angel was a magician who really rose to fame in the early 2000s, even before video sharing sites like YouTube started popping off. He used to have his videos go viral on forums with people trying to figure out how he did some of his street magic. I even recall there being multiple articles written about Chris Angel about how he's like a Satan demon worshipping deity that is put here on earth as the Antichrist, using his magic tricks to deceive us into disproving and wavering our faith in the Lord or some crazy shit. For a brief moment in time, the guy who was making a toothpick vanish from his thumb was considered the most powerful sorcerer and most evil wizard of our time, at least by soccer moms. Though admittedly, back in the day, he did have some bloody tricks where he'd swallow a quarter and then cut his stomach and pull the quarter out. And all this controversy and hoopla and hubbub about Chris Angel eventually just served to make him more popular, and he got his own show on A&E called Mind Freak. That right there, that name, probably just had you hit with like a wave of nostalgia that nearly knocked you out of your chair. Mind Freak was a wildly successful show, and it ran for many seasons, but it is very much the most poorly aged show ever broadcast. Going back and watching it now is downright embarrassing and laughable. And today I want to show you a clip from Mind Freak, which is by far one of the worst magic tricks ever performed in the history of magic. This right here would absolutely get you expelled from Hogwarts.
Your daughter, is that okay?
That's okay.
Okay, it's okay? Okay. So let me ask you something. Do you ever think about what you're gonna look like when you're 20 years old?
Yeah, so that's the trick. He's gonna turn this little girl into a 20-year-old. It's like some shit out of Fairly Odd Parents with Timmy Turner making a bad wish. It's about as stupid as you're expecting it to be. But I just want to quickly say, this was at the height of Chris Angel's popularity. This is back when I used to idolize this guy. I've talked about it before, but I used to really be big into magic tricks. I was like 2 Mind Freak episodes away from purchasing a top hat and sticking a deck of cards in my asshole to be able to do magic tricks wherever I went. I can't even count the number of times I did the toothpick vanishing trick from Chris Angel at my middle school lunch tables. I used to do that shit like once a week. I thought it made me the coolest guy in the world. But yeah, anyway, I'm getting carried away here. But anyway, this trick is not only bad, it's just creepy. Like, the concept of it is weird. I have expected this to be like a To Catch a Predator collab special or something, but it's just a Mind Freak original here that just is very odd.
Yeah, I always think about
You do? How old are you?
8.
You're 8. If I told you that I might be able to make you 20 years old right now, would you want to see what you look like?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
You want to do it?
Say no. This is like an exact situation parents warn their kids about, that you just don't accept candy from strangers. I feel like he's about to ask her to sign her name in blood on the contract here in a moment. For some reason, he's so excited about this, like way more than the kid is. He's like giddy with excitement, like, oh, I'm about to rapidly age this person. Now, again, Mind Freak was supposed to be like real magic. That's the way it sold itself back in the day. So things like this were meant to be believed as genuine magic tricks, not, editing and shit like that and jump cuts. Now, of course, when I say real magic, I don't mean like actual witchcraft or anything. I mean magic tricks. That's the fun of magic, is figuring out how the trick and illusion was performed. But with Mind Freak, it became very clear that the answer was always editing or camera tricks, which is cheating, really. And the concept of the show was also really dumb looking back on it. It was basically like vlogging before vloggers existed. So he'd walk around Las Vegas with a camera crew, and random people he'd walk up to and just like ask to do magic for. And like, he'd walk up to some kid and like his family and be like, hey, are you using this kid? No? Do you mind if I levitate them? And they're like, hey, Chris Angel, go for it. Yeah, fuck. I mean, Jesus, send him to the Shadow Realm. I don't care. So then Chris Angel's like, oh, great. All right, come here, camera guys. Watch this. So he like taps the kid's head and starts fucking floating him around. It's supposed to be like he's just on the street doing crazy magic out of nowhere. This guy's unhinged. If you're walking around Vegas, you might just see him transmogrify a human being into a unicorn. He also became famous for always doing like these over-the-top like Mind Freak moments, and he'd like come at the camera like for transitions. He'd come at it like, and the camera would go into his mouth, and then go to the next trick where all of a sudden he's taking a woman's shoe off and like turning it into a snake or whatever. It was so silly. Like, the concept of the show is dumb looking back on it, but the tricks in the show are the goofiest things imaginable.
Yes.
All right. The first thing that we have to do to make you look like you're 20, gotta dress you up like a 20-year-old, right? Your mom's shopping. We'll have some fun, okay? I'm gonna come up there, just like this. Perfect. Now, Melanie, are you ready to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. Let's try it. Let's try it. Just relax.
One of the biggest lies in television history, the continuous shot cam. That was a staple on the show to prove, like, no, these are, like, real time. But that continuous shot cam is the biggest fucking phony since Bernie Madoff. There is nothing ever in the entire history of Mind Freak that is a continuous shot. It just doesn't exist in the show. There are some real tricks he does, but the majority of it is just camera shit. Like actual post-editing. Which is cheating if you ask me, and most people feel the same way. But regardless, I'm getting carried away. Let's get back to the dark arts of Criss Angel here.
Completely relaxed. That's good. Now what I want you to do is I want you to envision yourself as a 20-year-old. Like you're growing, okay? And you're growing. And you're growing. There you go. There you go. And you're growing. And you're growing. And look at that. Wow. How do you feel?
I feel like I'm 20.
Exactly. Let's go have a look in the mirror. Look, come on. Take a look, take a look. Go ahead. Voila.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god, I'm really 20! Oh my god! Mom! Mom! Excuse me? Mom, how are you?
Get mind freaked, bitch! Oh, he's not human! You just got mind freaked! It's so silly. And he doesn't change her back. Now she's 20 forever. Now she's just missed her entire teenage years and everything. You know, get pranked, idiot. Shouldn't have said yes to Criss Angel. But, yeah, so, pretty impressive trick, clearly. A real brain buster. But I want to quickly explain why I stopped watching Mind Freak even as a kid, because I had, like, stars in my eyes whenever it came to Criss Angel. I was basically like a K-pop stan for Criss Angel before stan culture was a real thing. I'd fight this man's battles on forums for him saying, no, Criss Angel would never do, like, camera tricks. That's so lowbrow. Criss Angel does real magic tricks. We're all just too stupid to figure out exactly how. But then, he did one trick that was so fucking bad, so insulting, it spit in my face and shattered my universe. Like, I never stopped watching Mind Freak because of the overdose of cringe. I stopped watching because of just one trick that ruined the entire thing for me. It was when he did the Spyglass Hotel escape. It was part of a Mind Freak special where the whole concept was there's this building in Clearwater that was going to be demolished, and Criss Angel was going to go in there handcuffed and escape from, like, the first floor all the way to the rooftop and escape via helicopter, like something out of 007 GoldenEye. So he had to, like, pick the lock on his handcuffs, pick the locks on every door in the hotel, and make it to the roof. And it was a live broadcast, and you're watching Criss Angel pick the locks and shit, but he's running out of time. And then the cameras go black, completely cut out. And then it goes to the outside shot, and the building gets demolished. It gets blown up, and Criss Angel's still inside. So you feel like you just witnessed a murder. Criss Angel was just publicly executed, buried beneath the rubble. He's dead. And we saw it live. We couldn't save him. He wasn't fast enough. But then miraculously, he emerges from the debris like a phoenix from the ashes, and he's just fine. And that's when I knew it was all a lie from the get-go. I had been scammed. Of course, I didn't believe he ever did real magic. I always knew they were tricks. That's the whole point of magic. That's what makes it interesting. How did somebody do this? How did they pull off the illusion? And the answer was seldomly editing or camera tricks or anything like that, at least back then. But with Criss Angel, it became clear with this trick that that's the number one thing he relied on, because I started to piece it together. The obvious answer for how he did this was, for the live broadcast, he just played footage from, like, a practice run where he was picking locks throughout the building. He was never actually doing it. Now, for the live audience, he was actually in the building at some point and picked, like, a handcuff, and then he ran inside only to not be seen again for, like, 6 minutes. So clearly what must have happened is, for the live audience, he was there and just went out the back door, waited for the building to be demolished, and then just came out, covered himself in dust, and then walked away. For the live broadcast, he just played previous footage that wasn't live that he had already filmed way before like anything was set up to be demolished. So it was just completely a scam from the get-go. And it made me super upset because I had fought for this guy, like his integrity for years, saying like his tricks are like legitimate tricks, not just using the camera. But after that, that's when I learned, nope, 100%, that's how he does pretty much all of it. And then if you go back and watch, you can see blatant cuts, blatantly obvious editing, and just a lot of bullshit, which was really sad because I always had a really special place in my heart for magic tricks, and even to this day, I still really do enjoy like a good magician putting their best foot forward to do something cool and make me scratch my head going, how did they do that? But with Criss Angel, I then knew it wasn't anything like that. It was all just camera. This was very long-winded, and I didn't even really focus on the stupid fucking aging magic trick. I just think I really wanted to vent about Criss Angel because I haven't done that, and I just had all of that pent-up disappointment locked inside of me, so it felt cathartic to get it out to you right now. So yeah, that's about it. So yeah.